Hi everyone, it's Chala from Peace I Love You. Thanks for joining me for yet another card. Today's card is from the My Hero Arts Monthly July Card Kit. Now this kit has sold out, but you can still buy the different pieces separately by going to the website. I started with a postcard as I haven't seen anyone use it yet. I really like this idea of doing like a vintage type postcard, and I'm doing this for actually my brother-in-law's birthday. Now this stamp set is really great. It's whimsical, and I love that it comes with all those background dies, and I think this is great for the fall type of, fall fair theme. Really like that. Comes with some great pigment inks there, and yeah, we'll get started here. I started out die cutting the background in some blue, white, and red cardstock just from Michael's. This way I can make 3 cards at one time. And after I die cut, I'm going to use some press and seal so that I can release the cardstock from the die, but keep those pieces together so that it's easy for reassembly. Now, I use my Tim Holtz pickup tool there just to help push those pieces out of the die, and then I can stick those down to the press and seal. I'll do this for all 3 of those colors, the blue, red, and white. And I'm going to remove the frame and adhere it to the front of the postcard here with some liquid adhesive. Now it does hang off the edge. I will trim that up later. Using this liquid adhesive, it just allows me some wiggle room for when I lay it down, that I can make sure I can get it exactly where I want it. And I believe I'm using just the Tim Holtz Distress medium there to adhere that. So from here, I'm going to begin inlaying all those pieces, alternating between the red and blue, just going all the way around. It does take a bit of time, but it's so worth it. I want to give it that vintage look, so I'm using the Antique Linen Distress ink, and I'm applying a light layer over the top of all of this. I really love how this ended up coming out with that vintage look, just to complement the vintage idea of the postcard and the county fair. And then after I get this done, this is where I'm going to trim that bottom piece that's overhanging the postcard. Once I get that done, I just really like the look of that vintage kind of distressed look. I'm going to use my stamp platform and stamp this midway seam with some Versamark Black Onyx ink. I like the platform because the stamp is very detailed. I want to get a good impression and make sure I have that detailed look. Once that's done, I'm going to go over this white cardstock with the vintage distress ink again, and then I'll fussy cut around this image and apply it to the top of the card. I've also stamped that happy birthday image, and I'm going to be using the die cuts here. And then I'm going to actually pull out, after I age this again with that vintage distress ink, I'm going to pull out my pencil crayons here, and this case that I have it in is actually from 31 Gifts that a friend of mine sells, and I just love it. It's a great case to carry my pencils. I can take all my coloring on the go. I'll try to link to that site of hers in the comments below, as well as try and add a picture at the end of the product itself of what it looks like. I love that you can actually personalize it. I actually put my name on it, and I love it. The other thing about that company is they actually give back, so check out that site for sure. It's 31. So I'm going to go in and add some color to help out with a sentiment, just to help it stand out, using some reds and blues there, kind of that Vegas look I think I was going for. The yellow really wasn't as bright as I liked, so I went and I'm using, what is it called? At You Speaka, I think is what it's called, that I end up using instead of that yellow. And it's like Twinkling Stars pen. Yeah, the At You Speaka Twinkling Like Stars pen in lemon yellow. It's actually my mom's, so I don't know where she got it from, but maybe if she views this video, she will post a comment and let you know where she got it. So this just added a bit of sparkle, and like I said, it kind of reminded me of Las Vegas. I was actually headed to Vegas in a few days, so I, again, was kind of in that mojo and couldn't resist adding that sparkle. I then cut it out with that coordinating die, and I'm using that purple tape there so that when I go to remove that little die cut, it doesn't rip my image. That stuff is amazing. It's the thermal web tape, and I believe I got that from Simon Says Stamp. And then I will add, once I get that adhered down, I'll again add some sparkle with my Wink of Stella. And then I will actually, what is that, just my Tombow mono permanent adhesive there that I'm using. I really like that. I like how small it is, fits in my hand perfectly. There's that Wink of Stella, couldn't resist. I think I put that stuff on every card I make. It's just so much fun. And then I'll shine a little light with my phone there just to show you all that sparkle it gives. So fun. And that completes that postcard. I just love how it turned out, and hopefully my brother-in-law likes it as well. So the next card I'm going to show you is using the same background dies that we used before, just the leftover pieces, but this time I'm going to use my Xyron adhesive to that white cardstock. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the pieces through, and this is instead of using the liquid adhesive. So the only downfall to this is you really need to make sure that when you lay your images down that you kind of get them right the first time, because there's not the same amount of wiggle room that you would have with the liquid adhesive. It's just once it's down, and if you try to pull it up, you're likely to rip your project. But it does make it much, much easier if you're doing inlay pieces. So again, being really careful when you lay that down, because once it's stuck, it is stuck. Just going through with my bone folder there just to push it down. And then again, just repeating that inlay process all the way around. It's just such a great look. I love how this has come out. And then I'm going to be adding the Hello stamp from that card kit. And I'm going to be using that pigment dye ink, the white there. I'm actually going over top of it with my anti-static tool. And the reason I'm doing that is to remove any adhesive that might be left over from that Xyron, so nothing sticks to it, or it doesn't have any tacky edges. So I'll stamp that Hello sentiment there from the card kit with that white pigment ink. Now you can see it's brand new. I'm just opening up here. I haven't tried it. And when I put it down on the stamp, it is really, really juicy. Like there's too much ink came out, and that's not going to work. So I wiped it all off, and I'll re-ink it with a lighter hand. I'll do 2 impressions here, just to make sure, because this is a detailed stamp, that I get all those little nooks and crannies. And then I'm going to actually heat emboss this, and I'm going to be using my Recollections Glitz. It's a kind of white sparkle. And I'll set that up here with my heat tool. Just removing any of that stray embossing powder that may be on there, because once it's on there and you go to heat it, it will show the white or the glitter where you don't want it to be. Make sure your heat tool is really, really hot before you bring it to your image too. It'll stop the warping. So it's nice and glittery. And then, so I'm actually going to be jumping to the 3rd panel, and that was the last background there, the red. Again, the same process, just going through and inlaying, alternating the colors. And this was extremely late at night. Like, this is probably 1, 2 in the morning. And so when I got to here, I was tapped out. I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this card. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. So at the end of the video, I'll actually show you what I did with that card. I just couldn't, yeah, I was done. My brain was fried. And here are the cards. The Hello card with some gel pen and some sequin accents. I'm here for you through ups and downs from that monthly Hero Art stamp set. And the postcard from my brother-in-law. And a close-up look of each card individually. I really like how that turned out. Such sparkle on this one. And then I added Hello Friend die cut just to the top of that unfinished card. And here's that bag that I use for my colored pencils. I'll again link to the site so that if you want to take a closer look or order your own, I think it's fantastic for on-the-go coloring. It's got some great pockets. There's 2 clear pockets and then the mesh pocket for the pencils. Thanks again for joining me today. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you have some crafty friends, please share. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a great day.